Follow the trend, tend to benefit while avoiding harm. Hello everyone, this is Mr. D. Today, I want to share with you how to arrange the 3 transmissions. In the last video, I introduced you how to arrange the 4 lessons. The 9 situations of the 3 transmissions are mostly based on the 4 lessons, and part of the situations are based on the heaven plate and the earth plate. The literal translation of the 9 situations should be the 9 fictions, but I think it is more appropriate to translate it into 9 situations, because it represents the combination of different the 3 transmissions in each course. In the next few videos, I'm going to talk about why these 9 situations occur and what they represent. Do you still remember the 5 elements and their relationship of generation and restriction that I introduced before? If you forget, please watch this video again. Because the principle of arranging the first transmission based on the relationship between the 5 elements. If you don't understand these relationships, you will not be able to understand the following knowledge. Everything has the attributes of the 5 elements, so the heavenly stems and the terrestrial branches are no exception. This table records the 5 elements attributes of each heavenly stem, and this table records the 5 elements attributes of each terrestrial branch. This column is their Chinese name. This column is what English letter I specify to represent them, and this column is their 5 elements attributes. To facilitate your viewing, I have given different colors to the symbols with different attributes of the 5 elements. These heavenly stems and terrestrial branches have different attributes of the 5 elements, so they also have the characteristics of the attributes of the 5 elements. For example, the attribute of the 5 elements of high is water, and the attribute of the 5 elements of Si is fire. When high, which is L, meets Si, which is F, because water restricts fire, so L restricts F. As I said in the previous video, the Chinese calendar stipulates that every day has a name. The name of each day is determined based on the sexagenary cycle. For example, if today is YK day, then tomorrow must be ZL day, and the day after tomorrow must be QA day. If you have forgotten what the sexagenary cycle is, please watch this video again. The ancient Chinese divided every 10 days into a whole and gave it a name of Xun. Each Xun has a beginning day and an end day. To distinguish which day is in which Xun, ancient Chinese people use the name of the first day of each Xun as the name of that Xun. For example, Ren Yin Day, which is YC Day, belongs to QG Xun, and Ji Mao Day, which is VD Day, belongs to QK Xun. For you to better understand the following knowledge, so I must introduce this knowledge to you. After arranging the heaven plate and the earth plate, the 12 celestials, the 4 lessons, we treat the upper symbol and the lower symbol of each lesson as a group. The first thing we must determine is whether the relationship between the 2 symbols in each of the 4 groups is generation or restriction. If there is a restriction relationship and it is the lower symbol restricting the upper symbol, we take the upper symbol of the 2 symbols as the first transmission. For example, in this course, there is a combination of the lower symbol restricting the upper symbol, which C restricts K, There are two combinations of the upper symbol restricting the lower symbol. D restricts H and H restricts Y. According to the rules, we need to choose the combination which the lower symbol restricts the upper symbol, and ignore other combinations that the upper symbol restricts the lower symbol. So we use K as the first transmission. After getting the first transmission, we regard the first transmission K as the earth plate and see what symbol of it the heaven plate is. It is G. So we use G as the middle transmission. After getting the middle transmission, we regard the middle transmission G as the earth plate and see what symbol of it the heaven plate is. It is C. So we use C as the last transmission. The ancient Chinese called this situation the thief. Why did the ancient Chinese give this situation this name? Because the lower symbol restricts the upper symbol. It means that the company's subordinate takes the initiative to conflict with the superior, or the son takes the initiative to conflict with the father. In ancient Chinese people's perceptions that such behavior is wrong. So they call this kind of situation that the lower symbol restricts the upper symbol as the thief. But in the morals of our modern people, everyone is equal. It is not wrong for a subordinate to take the initiative to conflict with a superior within the company, if there is a valid reason. So when we are learning the various prediction methods handed down from ancient China, please do not blindly identify with the moral concepts of that era. What you need to understand are the principles and the facts in things, not opinions based on these facts. Because facts will never change, and opinions will always be changed with the development of the times. If you are predicting something and the three transmissions you get are this situation, which is the thief, then it should be the subordinate or the junior or the weaker that provoke the contradiction. After determining what the three transmissions are, we will habitually write the celestials corresponding to these three terrestrial branches in this course on the right side. In this course, the celestial of terrestrial branch K is the Azure Dragon, so we write AD next to the first transmission. The celestial of terrestrial branch G is the Black Tortoise, so we write BT next to the middle transmission. The celestial of terrestrial branch C is the Winged Snake, so we write WS next to the last transmission. We write in this column what the heavenly stamps of these three terrestrial branches corresponded to during that Xun. I have just introduced how to determine which Xun a certain day belongs to. Let's look at the prediction date for this course. It's 27 past 1 p.m. on June 23, 2021. Through this web page, we can find out that the name 23rd of June 2021 is Ren Yin Day, which is YC Day. Through this table, we can inquire that YC Day belongs to Q Jixun. So in this course, K's heavenly stem should be U, G's heavenly stem should be Q, C's heavenly stem should be Y. Regarding what's right in this column, to prevent you from accepting too much new knowledge in a short time, I will introduce it in the next video. If there is no restriction relationship of the lower symbol restricting the upper symbol, and there is only one restriction relationship of the upper symbol restricting the lower symbol, then we take the upper symbol of the two symbols as the first transmission. For example, in this course, there is no restriction relationship of the lower symbol restricting the upper symbol, and there is only one restriction relationship of the upper symbol restricting the lower symbol, which D restricts E. Then we take the upper symbol D as the first transmission. After getting the first transmission, we regard the first transmission D as the earth plate and see what symbol of it the heaven plate is. It is C, so we use C as the middle transmission. After getting the middle transmission, we regard the middle transmission C as the earth plate and see what symbol of it the heaven plate is. It is B, so we use B as the last transmission. Then we write here the celestials corresponding to these three terrestrial branches in this course, and write the heavenly stamps corresponding to each terrestrial branch here. The ancient Chinese called this situation the obedience. Why did the ancient Chinese give this situation this name? Because in the moral concepts of ancient Chinese people, the subordinates should obey the superiors. It means, in any case, it is right for the company's superiors to take the initiative to conflict with their subordinates. Of course, this is a wrong moral concept in the 21st century. We don't have to agree with their moral views. When you encounter this situation of three transmission, the cause of the matter is basically provoked by the superior. The above is the first situation of the 9 situations of the 3 transmissions, the thief and obedience. You don't need to memorize this knowledge by rote, because we have the help of the phone app. Why is it necessary to use the symbol of the relationship of the restriction to be the first transmission? It is because of contradiction that things developed. And if there is no contradiction in things, then things will not develop. That's why the Chinese theory of yin and yang thinks that yin and yang are the beginning of the universe. It doesn't matter what their names are. What matters is that they are two completely opposite energies, which through constant confrontation and cooperation produce the whole universe. Subscribe. Be your own prophet.